Here is every time Lois Griffin deserved to go to jail on Family Guy. Let's start with the time Lois confessed to murder. During the show's first few seasons, Lois's character wasn't all that fleshed out. She was basically a blander version of Marge Simpson, minus the blue hair and irritating voice. But by season 16, she became the raunchy, crazy mom we all know and love when we're not afraid of her. And in an episode titled Boy Dog Meets Girl Dog, we find out that Lois is also a murderer. The episode revolves around two plots: Brian falling for a show dog, and Peter and Lois trying to crush Chris's belief in Arthur Valentine.
Oh, I better set out a can of tuna fish and a cigar for Arthur Valentine.
You want to tell us what the holy hell that was?
Yeah. The viewers are wondering the same thing, Glenn. Just the hell is this Arthur Valentine character anyway? In short, this is a Santa-like fictional character Peter and Lois created to give Chris something to believe in for Valentine's Day.
And he comes every Valentine's Day on a purple Vespa to bring candy and sweet notes to children. Oh, and he's got an eye patch. But not for medical reasons, he just likes the look.
As Chris is now well into his teens, Peter and Lois realize they need to break the news that Arthur isn't real. Instead of explaining that to him, they decided staging a fake accident where Arthur is run over by a car was a better idea.
Arthur! He's dead!
They staged the accident, and while Chris thought Arthur got Matthew Broderick, he started spiraling into a catatonic state. During a moment when Lois is comforting Chris, she casually confesses that she killed a jaywalker years ago. Just seeing how casually she confessed to murdering a guy leaves you wondering what else she's done without telling anyone.
Every mother has killed someone.
I also wonder if she ever told anyone about sexually harassing Justin Bieber? All people go through quarter and midlife crises. Some buy a motorcycle, others get questionable haircuts, and billionaires buy Twitter and change its name to a single letter. Lois, she goes full spring break forever, ignoring the fact that she's married, has kids, and is well past her prime. Although, I'm not gonna lie, she can still rock boots and a short skirt, but more on that later. It all starts when Peter roasts his own wife at her surprise birthday party. Instead of just enjoying some cake, Lois gets hit with a brutal reality check about aging.
You may not be the young filly you were when I met you, but you're still my reliable old plow horse.
How does she deal with this? She transforms into someone you'd probably find dancing to Pitbull at a club at 3 a.m.
Lois, what's going on?
Peter enjoys it at first, because who wouldn't enjoy a wife who's suddenly crazy and adventurous somehow, and the two have some fun. They also run over a homeless man and burn his corpse, but if you've been paying attention thus far, you know that for Lois, this isn't anything new. Of course, the honeymoon phase doesn't last long, and Peter soon gets tired of acting like a teenager again. So, what's Lois's brilliant next move? Sneak into a Justin Bieber concert and try to seduce him.
Hey there, cutie.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Okay, just get your pants off.
Yep, because that's totally normal behavior for a woman in her 40s, right? As you can guess, it doesn't end well. Peter steps in to save the day and Biebs by beating the ever-living crap out of the pop star. Classic Family Guy. And let's not forget, Bieber was a teenager at the time. Legal, sure. He turned 18 on March 1st, 2012, while this episode aired November 25th the same year, but it's still nasty and still pretty illegal, not to mention that Peter beat the ditty out of him. That's still punishable. But then there's the time she tried playing Heisenberg, which would land her way more jail time. Yep, Lois Griffin, the Quahog housewife and mother of 3, once ran a meth lab. And no, this isn't Breaking Bad, this is Family Guy, so it's a lot nuttier. We've seen Lois dabble with substances before, like getting hooked on diet pills in season 4's Model Misbehavior. She also gets hooked on painkillers in a season 20 episode titled just read the name off the screen, because I'm unsure if we're allowed to say this on YouTube. And in Farmer Guy, Lois goes full-on Heisenberg. After moving to a farm to escape Quahog's crime wave, the Griffins find themselves struggling financially.
The latest police statistics have revealed a significant rise in crime throughout Quahog.
Oh my God! We've been burglarized!
Well, we'll just have to get that $17 insurance check and start over.
They move to the countryside to run a farm. Seems like a good plan, right? Wrong. The family quickly realizes farming isn't their thing, and surprise, they start losing money faster than Peter can eat a sandwich.
Well, that's going to be very hard to do now that we're living on a farm.
What? What are you talking about?
A farm, Lois? It's where vegetables live?
Now, here's where things get crazy. While hiding in a storm cellar from a tornado, they stumble upon a fully operational meth lab. You'd think Lois would freak out and call the cops, right? Nah. Peter gets the idea to start cooking meth to pay the bills, and Lois, being the supportive wife she is, agrees, but only after some classic Lois reasoning. Well, as long as it's making us money, what's the harm?
Well, right now, our family needs us to sell illegal drugs to the tank top community. What do you say?
All right, Peter, we can make one meth, and that's it.
She quickly gets wrapped up in the meth business, becoming a queen pin alongside Peter. Even Brian is shocked at their operation. Lois, unfazed, tells him he's not getting any of the drug money. Only after seeing the destruction their product caused in Quahog does Lois realize how far they've gone and call it quits.
We're hurting our own hometown. All those drugs that are flooding into Quahog are from us.
Considering this little adventure, Lois would be looking at around 30 years behind bars. Not the best side hustle choice, Lois. You'd better be off becoming a shoplifter, getting arrested, and escaping custody. Lois's kleptomania kicks into high gear in season 4, episode 9, breaking out is hard to do. It all starts when she's a little short on cash at the grocery store and decides to borrow a ham. Nothing too crazy, right?
Hey, is that ham? I thought you put that back.
No, I put the other ham back.
I don't remember another ham.
Well, that ham becomes the gateway to a full-blown crime spree. At first, it's small stuff. Clothes, a couple of trinkets here and there, but soon, she's upgrading to more high-profile items like fine art and, for some reason, car mufflers.
Oh my God, that was such a rush.
Her kleptomania spirals so out of control that she eventually gets arrested by none other than her neighbor, Joe Swanson.
Hold it right there, Lois. You're under arrest.
Oh, crap.
As a Rhode Island native, this crime can get you a year in jail, which isn't that long. However, Lois was sentenced to 3 years after a couple of extensions, compared to some of the other stuff on the list, but what happens next carries some bigger consequences. A whole family meltdown starts when Peter, who's unable to take care of the house, breaks her out of jail. The Griffins go on the run like a family-friendly Bonnie and Clyde, fleeing to Asian Town, which is as bizarre as it sounds.
We're in Asian Town.
Lois finally realizes how deep in it she's gotten when their whole life is thrown into chaos just because she wanted a free ham. In a rare moment of clarity, she turns herself in and accepts the consequences. But seriously, the whole mess because of a ham makes you wonder what she would do for a fur coat. Well, for that, she would rip off the Quahog taxpayers. Yeah, that's something she's also done. She had great intentions at the beginning. While camping in the woods, the Griffin family goes out to swim in the lake when suddenly,
this water feels kind of funny.
Ah! Dad, look! Holy crap!
I think it's a safe bet that that's responsible.
like any good woman, Lois vows to clean up the lake by replacing Adam West as the town mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I promise you this. Next election, I'm gonna run against you, and I'm gonna win.
Sounds good, right? Nah, you know nothing goes well on in the show. It doesn't take long for her to slip into corruption. After raising funds to clean the lake, she starts dipping into taxpayer money to buy handbags. Things go full cartoon villain when she's bribed with a fur coat by an oil company in exchange for letting them dump waste back in the lake. Classic politician move, right?
I was a little naughty. I may have dipped into the tax surplus.
Wait a minute, you used taxpayer money to buy yourself a handbag?
By the end, Lois realizes she's become what she set out to stop, but not before totally wrecking the environment. Public office, maybe not Lois's strong suit.
I'd like to buy you that coat. All I ask in return is that you let my company do just a little bit of dumping in your lake.
It is an awesome looking coat, so who am I to judge here? Another waste pipe reopens, Lois gets her fur coat, and you know what? Something good comes out of this after all. Jake Tucker's upside-down face becomes normal. You see, Lois is for the kids. Well, not all the time. There's the time she tried covering up Stewie's injuries as an accident. Okay, brace yourself. This one's a doozy. A large chunk of the episode is dedicated to Brian and his writing career, TV executives, and James Woods, naturally. But we're here for Lois, so let's focus on the B-plot. Stewie, for once, is acting like a relatively normal child, playing, when suddenly his brother and sister happen. He ends up with a massive head wound, no big deal, right? Instead of, taking him to the hospital, they try to cover it up like it's a bad report card.
You give him to me? It's time for his dinner.
Oh, don't worry, Mom. We'll bring him down.
But this is the Griffin family where bad parenting is basically an Olympic sport. The wound gets so gnarly, it's hard to watch. Like, imagine a zombie head with baby clothes.
Maybe we should take him to the hospital.
Peter came along when you thought things couldn't get any worse. At first, it looks like he caught the two red-handed, but he's ominously chill about the entire situation. It turns out, this is not his first rodeo.
When you were babies, I used to knock you kids out every month or so.
Just when you think it couldn't get worse, enter Peter. Instead of using what little brain power he has to help, he decides to throw Stewie under Lois's car while backing up, because nothing says problem solved like a vehicular cover-up. When Lois discovers this, instead of being horrified, she's all in. She decides the best plan is to help Peter cover up the accident.
We have to cover this up.
What?
Let's put a hat on him to cover the wound, and then let's get some makeup and draw eyeballs on his eyelids and find a way to pin this on someone else.
Mother of the Year material right here. Lois sometimes covers up injuries and sometimes she attacks and humiliates multiple people. From everything you have seen so far, you'll agree that everything Lois touches pretty much turns into a disaster. Yes, everything goes to hell, even when she tries to keep the Christmas spirit alive in her home. In Christmas Guy, things start off, innocent enough, I guess. Lois is impressively holding it all together, decorating the house, buying the gifts, and making sure Peter doesn't do something insane. Yet, but this is Family Guy, so we know it's only a matter of time before Lois flips her festive switch. So what finally breaks her? Is it Peter's incompetence? Are the kids fighting? Nope, it's more sinister. The lack of cleaning products to tidy up the chaos around her. Apparently, nothing ruins Lois's Christmas faster than a messy house. I mean, let's be real, we've all been there, sort of.
We're out of paper towels.
No paper towels.
This sends her into a full-on rampage through Quahog. No one is safe, not even poor Frosty the Snowman, who she violently tears apart. Lois Griffin on Christmas is like watching a Hallmark movie get hit by a bulldozer. She smashes through Quahog verbally and physically, laying the smack down on anyone who even looks at her funny.
Merry Christmas.
Easy, lady. You want some of this?
By the time she climbed up the town Christmas tree like it was King Kong versus Santa, the cops had already arrived. Lois does have a moment of clarity at the top of the tree, but just before she can gracefully descend and admit her breakdown, the police take her out with a tranquilizer dart. Classic move. She's out cold for the rest of the holiday, which, let's be honest, was probably the best gift she could have given everyone at that point. Finally, let's talk about the kidnapping and murder attempt. At the beginning of the episode, she holds down Brian to drain his anal glands by hand, which should be punishable by law in their universe. Later in the episode, Lois gets it in her head that she has to be crowned the customer of the week at her favorite local coffee shop. You know, typical Lois stuff. But when the title goes to someone else, she completely spirals.
This week's customer of the week is Lester!
How does she try to fix this? She tries to bribe her way up to the customer of the week by spending $600 on a pretty lousy piece of artwork. That's $600 cash. Does that work?
This week's customer of the week is Terry, new customer.
And when this fails, what does she do? Nothing big, just uses a barista's peanut allergy to cause an accident so she can heroically save the day. But instead of winning the award, she causes a massive car crash. And when a coworker catches on, Lois doesn't just stop there, oh no. She straight up kidnaps him and his roommates to cover up the whole mess. From coffee to chaos, real quick.
Lois?
Put the phone down, Kyle H.
And you just know I had to hit up Google for this one. What would Lois get in jail for this? Only about 20 years, plus a possible life sentence for all that wild behavior. And if we sum up the entirety of her prison time, Lois would be sentenced to at least a few lifetimes in jail. At least. If you like this video, you should go watch this one here.